Actually, I wonder if I can tell if they're gonna go if they're gonna see me or not. It's kind of.
They'll probably see you.
I mean, maybe. Let me see. Let me see my account. Let me see if it tells I'm going live.
I like this throne room, but I
That's
also like
weird.
this one. Question is, I do need to figure out kind of how close I need to be
Let me
for
see.
something like this. Or this was a smaller image.
Oh yes, look, see, it says it says that we're live,
Yeah,
so
we're
it
live,
does
man.
work.
Yeah. See, I told you, man. We are live.
That's cool. It's my first time seeing that.
It's wild, man.
A little delay, but that's cool. Yep, we're all
Yeah,
live.
the delay is normal because you're seeing it from an app, I think.
Yeah, yeah, moving from a YouTube app.
Yeah, so that should be normal for the most part. I
That's
think.
really cool.
I could be wrong though.
I wonder, can they? Oh, someone in the chat.
Oh, there is.
Oh,
Whose handsome voices are these? Oh,
it's
hello,
Abby.
hello,
Whoa,
friend.
so she can text
Welcome,
you here. That's cool.
welcome.
Should we for 20 people or should I just go with it?
I mean,
Oh, okay. See, the one eyeball is probably Abby.
you could, you
I
could,
don't
um,
know from that.
you could start if you want. Um,
Mm, let me get maybe one or two more eyeballs and we'll see. Oh man, I can't believe we're finally doing this after like what
yeah,
over 2 years since
it's been
since
over
I
2 years.
used it, and then last year I announced it, and then nothing happened because let's just say a lot of blessings have happened. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, one more person can join us. But if not, we'll start. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm a little excited, but Tony,
I'm
did you say?
excited, man. Yeah, no, no, no. I sent it to. I know. I told you this, but just in case.
Tell everyone else that.
Yeah,
All right, sounds good, Z.
if you want, we could give it like up to the 5 minute mark, and then we could just go ahead and start.
Sound good.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you, miss. Thank you.
I wonder.
That's wild. I already
I
have
got
a
my
fan.
topic. Do you have a topic you want to talk about?
A topic? Not that I have in mind, if I'm being honest.
Nothing like
Um,
Doctor Doom related.
nah, I think I'll save that for a later topic. I think that's a great topic to go on for later on.
Definitely,
But I think it's too soon for now. Just for now.
because of Fantastic Four is not here yet.
Oh, it's almost here. July. I sense the presence of another Doom in the universe.
Hell yeah!
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's happening, man. I'm so excited. But that aside, I mean, I don't know how you want to start this off. I mean, we're still waiting 5 minutes to start this, but
Yeah.
you could start with like maybe an intro, like hello. I don't know if you want to even do an intro. It really depends on you how you want to
Well, the
run
video was the
this.
intro, but I mean, like I said, this is like a test run, so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
video is here that I have right here, and usually what I like to do is that. So
Yeah.
then we can start. That's kind of fun if I want to do kind of like video, but start talking about whatever, and then we start talking about whatever we want to talk about. Oh wait, there are actually other ways to like do this. Let me see. I want
Yeah,
to play
there
around,
is. Let me.
but how about this? Nah, it's weird.
Also, one thing I do recommend
Nah.
is try not to overlap with the audio because you're playing music, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like not talk during the video. Yeah, I get you. No, I just want
Yeah.
to talk about it right now. So I get you.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it's not gonna work. I think I need an actual camera,
like a mic.
not
Oh,
like
I
a
love that
like.
one. I like
Yeah.
that. That's perfect for you.
Yeah.
That
The
one's
only thing is like I need like an actual.
that's
I like
perfect.
that one. That one's
That's
nice.
great.
We're doing throne reviews at this point.
That one's yours, man. That one's yours. You keep that one.
I mean, I think this one looks like the one most in the comics that I've seen. I mean, I haven't read a full comic with Doctor Doom yet, but I think this one looks pretty similar to the one in Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman.
It does. I like it.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. But I don't know. I wouldn't know a thing about Doom's Thrones. So yeah, but nah. All right. So yeah. All right. So
All
we're
right.
already at the 5 minute mark, Sal. If you
Yeah.
want to give it another five, it's up to you.
It's
Or
fine. We
you.
can start now.
Alrighty, man.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
The topic that I've been dying to talk about since like the last 6 years is this.
The end of the Spider-Man-less universe.
Yes, it's about time that it ends because crap. Like, it's insane how far they've come out. Don't get me wrong. The Venom films, I mean, it's surprising that Venom could do so well without Spider Man. And I'll admit, they kind of made it work in a way. In a way, to a degree. But
I
beyond
mean,
that, I mean, you have what Morbius, which was very laughed at, despite having an Oscar-winning actor. It's insane. And you have who else? You have Madam Web, which a lot of great actresses in that movie, but the movie was just I haven't even seen the movies because they're just there's something about them that's just so off to me. And plus, I don't want to support like whatever they're doing with these characters. And then you have Craven, which I mean, okay, R-rated movie. That's kind of cool. I mean, I never thought someone can do that, but they did, and that's cool. But they're, I mean, with Craven, it's just they're like with these characters alone, you can only do so much with them. And
yeah.
without Spider-Man, it's pointless. You just can't do anything with these characters without Spider-Man to a degree. Venom, I'm surprised about, but Venom is like he's very popular enough to have his own franchise. It's like Deadpool and X-Men. Like Deadpool's popular enough to have his own franchise, and people will support him no matter what. And Venom does have that strong stand. So for Venom is an exception, and it's surprisingly did pretty well too. Not critically though, but financially, I mean, a lot of people like want to see Venom.
I mean, I want to see Venom. I mean, Tom Hardy's performance as Venom and Eddie Brock was by far the only reason I would ever buy a ticket to see a Venom movie. I mean, you all from the first one all the way through to like the Last Dance. I think Tom Hardy delivered in performance spectacularly, and I think he carried the majority of the films. And maybe this is a maybe, but he might have carried the Sony universe on his back. The film universe, I should say. The
No,
film,
no,
the film.
that's perfect. That's perfect. That's what I literally been thinking about too. It's like, I mean, Tom Hardy. I think of all actors, Tom Hardy had like the most like creative control when it came to his like character. I mean, to be fair, he's only his own like the trilogy, so he's got some more backing because one, Venom's the most popular character besides Spider Man. You subtract Spider Man, Venom's like the next popular character in the Spidey verse. And two, you have Tom Hardy, great actor. Even with all the what the Venoms lack, he made up for it by a lot. Like he's a great actor, like no doubt. And he made it work. You know, that's the one thing that was always consistent, that always good about the Venom films was how he played, Eddie, and he played Venom, and it worked despite being the same person. This all it working up to be their own different people. And I thought that was pretty cool that he got to do that. And he was also like a producer. He had more of a role with the Venom films. I think after the first one, he had like executive producer role or something like that. So he had a more say and a little bit more say of what he wants to do with Venom. So he took
I,
care of Venom to an extent. So I have some respect for Venom films.
man,
But
I
everyone else is not so lucky. I mean, they
man,
again, a lot of great actors, man. I mean, they even got Russell Crowe for Craven. Like, come on. Like, how did they like? one thing I gotta admit is like they get a lot of these great actors, and their advertising is kind of in a good way. I say everywhere. Like Venom 3 was like he was all over the place. Venom was all over the place. He was in Hot Ones. He was in. I think he got like what was the rapper's name? Some rapper that they had a commercial with. The Tom Hardy too. Tom Hardy was like there too. Like and he was some I forgot the rapper's name, but he like it was like this like mini like the advertising was on point. Like it really was like interesting enough. It was funny but interesting. Like it was like random but kind of in a cool way because it kind of fit what Venom was. Because at least I think by a second film, it knew what it wanted to be. It knew what kind of franchise, what kind of character he was meant to be. So after the second and third one, I kind of like that they're kind of the same like same vibe.
I can
But
see
the
that.
first one was just completely different. It was just it wanted to be everything that a comic book movie was at the time. It wanted to be like Logan. It wanted to be like an MCU film. It wanted to be a Spider-Man film. It wanted to be everything, but it didn't. It didn't know what it wanted to be yet. Second film kind of set the stage a little more, and the third one kind of solidified it, and it pretty much like helped the franchise as a whole. Now the Venom films were never perfect. I was still against the first one, but I mean it did kind of make up for it, especially with its connection to the MCU. And speaking about that, you know what really like pissed me off, like just about this whole situation, their ending and all that,
What
was the fact that they could have gone Spider-Man for their movies.
could have
Their,
happened?
their deal with Marvel and Disney did not restrict them at all. Like I think many of us thought that they would have like, okay, well they can't use Tom Holland Spider-Man, but technically they could have. They could have also used Tom Spider-Man. And there's rumors saying that Tom made a cameo in Venom in the first Venom movie. So it was like, but we didn't. It was all just a like a rumor. It wasn't like, like I don't think it was confirmed or not. For a long time, it was never like officially confirmed. So maybe that would have confirmed, possibly. I don't know. But what else can I say about that? Like, it kind of pissed me off because you mean to tell me that they could have had their own Spider-Man, gotten their own cake and eat it too, and have Spider-Man, connect to Venom, to Morbius, to Madam Web. Madam Web, I think needed it the most. I think, and even Craven. I mean, that's like insane. Like, I mean, they can use their own Spider-Man, but can they use storylines? Certain storylines they can use. Like, I mean, the fact they need Spider-Man. I think the reason why they didn't want to bring their Spider-Man, either they're very stupid, or the fact that they wanted to try to connect their films in the MCU. And by having Tom in the MCU, having Tom in the Venom movies and all these other films, that would have easily connected everything to the MCU. Because the general audience are not gonna know what the hell a variant is. They're not gonna know what a double ganger or a variant, what that is. So people are gonna assume right away, like, oh shoot, Tom Spider-Man is there. It's in the MCU. And I think I've talked about that years ago too. Like if that were to happen, that it would confuse a lot more people. But they really wanted to really chain up their franchises with the MCU, but still doing their own thing, which is so parasitic. I think if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that. But besides that, I mean, we're still gonna see a future Spider-Man film. I mean, it's been
Oh
already in
no,
the works for a while. Then
oh for sure,
Sony Animations, for example. I think
for
it's Sony
sure.
Animation.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. We're gonna see more Spider-Man films. I'm not. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a better direction than having these random characters that are Spider-Man characters, yes, but they're also not like Spider-Man. I mean, we could have gone Miles Morales. We could have gone Spider-Man 2099. Like, I think they really went backwards with these films for the most part.
They're
And
going backwards.
And yeah, and I mean, finally, I mean, it took them only 6 damn years, but hey, at least now they're thinking straight, you know. And yeah, it's just don't know. I mean, hopefully, this means that we'll have more studios, more control over these characters because if they don't, if they don't get, if they don't, get their hands on these characters, I don't know if someone will do like more damage to the character. It's the brand, mind you. I mean, they've already failed twice with the franchise, and the fact that they would still want to do a third one without Marvel, it's insane. If it weren't for the hacks, we wouldn't be having this like in having Spider MCU right now.
I
It weren't for
mean,
the hacks in 2014.
yeah, that's true. Which brings me to my next question: where do you think we go from here? I mean, if it truly is the end of a Spider-Man-less universe, then the only way to go is up, right?
Well, I hope so. If someone doesn't screw things up, we could see. I would hope. This is what I hope that Marvel and Sony make another deal. They made a bunch of deals. Like they made so many deals, and they uh, try to bring more characters into the fold of the MCU. Because the fact that Craven the Hunter was actually planned for not just Spider-Man 3, but for Black Panther 2 is insane. That means that they had more plans, more care for the characters, despite them not having the rights to the characters than Sony ever did. You know, it's one
Yeah,
thing to do a solo film, but it's another thing to have an actual plan with the character.
I get you.
And I'm not judging the films on their own because I don't know those films 110%. I've seen Morbius and it was, I mean, it had its fun. The movies are fun to watch. They have their bit of charm even, but beyond that, it's just cash grab. I mean, they're using characters to make a quick buck.
I mean, the monies do matter, but it's not all. What about the fans? You know?
Yeah, I mean, they're already making a lot of money with the Spider-Man films. Literally, they're making 75% of the box office. All they had to share was 25% with Marvel and Disney. Like they're getting the majority of box office regardless of what movies they make. So Knowing Home, I think, was the first actual Spider movie where they both had to share. Not sure, but they both made profit. You know,
Yeah, I get you.
and well, I mean, Venom still made a lot of money, and I don't know if those films are included with the deal with the 75% or not. But I mean, they're mostly Sony films, and they're not Marvel Studios films, so maybe not. I don't know. But I've heard years back that it was supposed to be like 20%, 7% from no, it was a split. They get Marvel gets a quarter of the box office, but they also like pay a quarter of the production. Like it's not just getting the money; it's also paying it forward. So the majority of the Spider-Man films are Sony produced, but I think that Marvel would probably have. I mean, I don't know about Venom or Morbius or Man and Web, but for Spider-Man films, it would have to be 20%. Like they have to do to pay a little bit more for production and all that stuff, and they have a little more say of how they advertise. Because Sony wanted to straight up like show Toby and Andrew. They wanted to straight up show them and get the audience coming running. Marvel Studios said no. Let's wait for that. Let's and they compromised and they said okay, let's show Doctor Octavius first, and that will get people roaming around, which it did. So that was Marvel's idea. Though, and Sony wanted to show Toby and Andrew like that, like just the first trailer or teaser. They'll want to show you guys the Toby and Andrew,
Yeah.
but Marvel didn't want to spoil surprise.
I mean, apparently, alleged, we're gonna see Toby and Andrew again.
Oh, Secret Wars. Yeah, Secret Wars or Doomsday or both.
Now, well, we're going too far ahead of ourselves, I think. Here, what about? Hear me out. Let's talk about the good times, the fun times that we had with the Spider-Man-less universe. I mean, we already talked about Venom, but how about that film Morbius, man? How about that film Morbius?
Fun fact about Morbius was that Sony was tricked into releasing Morbius a second time
Really?
because they thought that people actually liked the film. But they
Morbius too?
no, like this the same movie. This for the first one.
Ah,
They
I see, I see.
released the movie twice because a lot of people liked it apparently, but it was just made fun of so badly. And then the fact that Sony got tricked into releasing it again and it bombed not once but twice is insane. It made even less money a second time. So they, I don't know why or how, but they're not. That should tell you that they're not in touch with the fans. If that doesn't show you, I don't know what will show you.
I mean, from there, after the Venom, we got like, what did we get? Did we get Morbius or did we get another Venom film?
I think it was Venom. Okay, Venom one, Venom two, Morbius, Madam Web, Venom three, and then Craven.
All right. All right. Next up, Madam Web. Thoughts?
I haven't seen much of the. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen the movie at all actually, but I know some snippets of it.
I have. I have.
What do you
I would like to. I would like to chime in on this conversation. Overall, the story was a bit flat. If I'm being honest, it wasn't what I would call a Spider-Man film for the most part. Um, the acting was good. It was all right. But actors can only do so much if the script is flat, or below flat. So yeah, it just didn't really hit the landing for me. I mean, there were certain plot scenes that were all right, but it kind of like it was a movie that I could have definitely slept through a huge chunk of, and I would wake up and I would not care that I slept, or I would not even try to rewatch what I missed, because that's how, just honestly, sad to say, it's a bit forgettable. You know, it's just like the snap. Like who, what, when, where, why. Spider Man, who? Uh, so yeah, that those are my honest thoughts on Madam Web. Overall, I think it's more or less a potential plotline that could have gone somewhere, but I'm guessing probably, and it's also due to the fact that they didn't really follow the gravity that these characters hold from the original source materials that
think?
have been cultivated in the comics. I mean, Madam Web was like this big thing in the comics, which, by the way, honestly, I haven't read much about Madam Web. As you see, I'm glitching out through the multiverse here.
Mhm.
Um, but I would beckon to say, that Madam Web is probably one of those pivotal characters in the Spider Verse specifically. Um, that is crucial to the story of Spider-Man as he progresses later on. And honestly, I just didn't get that in the film at all. Like, if you told me that this character had such a pivotal role in this a Spider-Man storyline or plot line in the future, then I would just be like, that's just a big joke. I just don't see it with this film, or I don't see this film setting it up as well as it should have had. The setup. But yeah, those are my honest thoughts on Madam Web. I don't know if you'd like to add on Madam Web.
Oh, that's pretty good too. Um, I just think that like you're saying, Madam Web is a very important character into the mythos of Spider-Man. He's practically basically similar to Doctor Strange, where she's like, like powerful enough to travel the multiverse and like involve a lot of multiple Spider-Man from across the multiverse. And here we are, they nerfed her so bad, like to the point where I mean, I guess I get that it's her like getting her powers first and everything, but I mean, they could have done so much more. I think I thought that Madam had some potential when I first saw that. I'm like, okay. I mean, it might connect to the multiverse. It might connect more Spider-Man. I'm game for it. At least they'll start something better than nothing, right? But it didn't do that at all. I don't think there's any multiverse related stuff in this movie, and I think this is one of those characters that are supposed to be at least somewhat linked to the multiverse, or at the very least start to, towards the end at least. But I mean, it was kind of like like knowing what's gonna tell, like knowing what the future is or possible futures that will happen. So I guess to an extent, it does kind of have at least the outlines of it, but it wasn't much more than that, just outlines of it. I mean, we barely saw spider women with the being Spider Women, so it's hardly a Spider-Man movie and all. And it's so
Mm.
weird that and despite them trying to hide the fact that it's Peter Parker they're trying to protect, who was a baby in this movie, they hide it so weird. Like it's like a CW show. It's like they're trying to hide like or barely mention like in the CW shows in the Arrowverse, like Arrow, Flash, and all that. They never really like talk about Batman much, hardly until towards the end of their runs, where they start mentioning Batman, but they don't really like dive deep into it much until Batwoman came around. But that's a different story. Well, in this case, though, it's like they're trying to hide the fact that he's Spider Man, or he will become Spider Man in that universe, and I mean, it's like they barely mentioned it at all. And it's like, well, he's the most important character. Or supposedly the most so important that you're trying to protect him as a baby, kind of like a Terminator movie,
Yeah.
and yet you barely mention much of him, which is weird. Or the fact that he's gonna be the greatest hero of all time. We need to protect him before some Terminator kills him as a baby.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
But it's nice seeing an evil Spider-Man, I guess, even though he
Oh
was
yeah,
so easily.
yeah. He was a pretty interesting villain with like quite a lot of potential, but I mean, even in the villain department, I think he was an alright villain, but he's not like a villain that I'd be like, oh no, like would threaten someone like Madam Web. Um, at least with the powers that he was shown to have. I mean, it seems like they kind of made the villain off of this idea that Madam Web has the power to, see future events when he can just see like 5 seconds. They were like, okay, the she has the power to see the future. I'm gonna also give him that power, and just make it only like a few couple of minutes or seconds into the future. Um, at least from what I could remember. I could be wrong though, but about those specific details. But yeah, pretty wild stuff.
Overall, these movies were they won't be missed.
Nah, I'm
And I
gonna
just
miss them.
hope that
I'm gonna miss them, man. They bring a tear to my eye, make me sob.
they bring a tear in my eyes too, but not in the way you think.
That's insane.
No, but man, I just hope that they just get their stuff together and they just make like they actually work with Marvel and like get their things going because it's good that they're finally starting with starting to like how do I say on the right foot with just focusing on Spider-Man. Tom Holland should be the number one priority, no matter what. And everything else follows, like the Spider Verse animated films, Spider Man Noir on Amazon that's coming soon. So it's good. They're starting good. I mean, they're focusing on the Spider people. That's great. But I mean, but I want to see more my hope is that I like to see more collaboration with Marvel Studios. I want to see um like them making shows. I mean, not for freaking Amazon or MGM Plus. Like, what kind of random streaming is like? That's like the most random match I've ever heard. I mean, I guess I get that Sony works with Amazon with some of their shows, like The Boys and all that. But I'm like, you literally have a lot of deals going on with Marvel and Disney. Why don't you just make these shows available on Disney Plus? And not only that, but why not have their spin-offs take place in the MCU? I mean, there's so much potential in the MCU. I mean, for starters, they can do a Prowler series or a movie, a Prowler show or a movie,
A Prowler
or
show.
they can do like and set up Miles from there. That'd be perfect. Perfect way to set up Miles is with the Prowler series.
I would like that.
And what else? You can also do. I mean, Sony has been dying to make a Sinister Six film for a long time, ever since I think around Andrew Garfield's time. They've been dying to make a movie with Sinister Six for a while. So it's like, okay, after Spider-Man 4, why not just start setting up Sinister Six in the MCU, and then make a project in the MCU, you know?
Yeah, I
And
get you.
also have these storylines. They say like Venom take place in the MCU now. I mean, reboot Venom in the MCU now. And what else? I mean, there's so many characters that they can use that they could spin off and actually like work with. But I think it'd be a lot better if it's the MCU. Now, if you want to do something that's non-MCU related, well, then do something like Spider-Man Noir, which hopefully does pretty well because you got Nick Cage there. I know Nick Cage was a big favorite in the Spider-Verse animated films, so it's nice that he plays his role in live action, which you don't see very often. So it's kind of nice to see from animation to live action. So it's pretty badass that we're seeing that. And what was can I say? And yeah, I mean, start. They could do a Miles Morales movie series, do Spider-Man 2099 on Disney Plus. Like Disney has all the budget in the world. They can literally like give them so much budget and not be so cheap about it, and they'll give whatever that Sony wants for their production. Like there's a lot of potential there. I don't understand why they would want to go with Amazon MGM for Spider-Man. That's so random. It's like random. Like you have all these good relation going on, and now you're like going to like other competitors for that. It's one thing for other TV shows, right? Like it doesn't really matter. But for Spider-Man, it makes more sense to have Disney Plus. That's where all the Marvel content's at. Everyone wants to see all of them. Even the Fox movies are there. Even the Spider-Man movies are there now. It's like, it makes more sense to just have everything in one roof. Have all the fans united in this one platform. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they can at least make it non-exclusive, but I'm just saying, like, they should at least have it available on C Plus,
Yeah, I mean Disney Plus is the way to go. I mean, it's also a lot of people use Disney Plus nowadays, so I mean
especially
that's
the
the
bundles
place
now.
to be.
Yeah, especially now since they got ESPN going and the Hulu going, so they got more things to show now. But that's besides the point. Point is that hopefully that they start getting, like, they start making better choices with their characters and actually take more care of the characters. And I mean, they're gonna be stuck with Sony for a while, so it's like we're gonna Sony's not gonna sell Spider-Man anytime soon. As sucks as it is, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. It's too valuable to them. They really tie Spider-Man to not just the movies but to their games. Like they really are relying on a licensed character, which kind of sucks for them because they could still easily lose the Spider-Man rights. Not easily, but they could still, like, there's a possibility they could still lose the rights, or at least devalue the rights. Or if someone buys Columbia Pictures, if anyone, like, it's similar to do with Fox. Like if someone bought Fox, even if it was in Disney, like if let's say Universal bought Fox, the rights to those characters will not follow. They'll automatically go back to Marvel because the contract is only for that studio. So same case with Spider-Man. If somebody buys Sony Pictures, like let's say Apple or let's say Amazon, or I don't know, someone buys Sony Pictures, the rights to Spider-Man will automatically revert back to Marvel. So that's the only hope of, like, if someone buys them, then they'll go back to Marvel automatically because
I think here's what I think should happen: the Marvel community should just come together and we buy Spider-Man
I
cinema.
wish it was that easy.
That would be insane if that happened. Imagine
I wish it was that easy, man. But
all the webs intertwined to make one big money net to grab Spider-Man from Sony for good, permanently ripping him out of the Sonyverse, making him part of, I guess, the MCU permanently.
that'd be a lot better.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. You know what? I'll call Doom. I'll call Doom.
I thought
See
you were
something
doing.
new happen. Well, I'm one of many, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I mean, business, man. It does numbers on a character so renowned like Spider-Man. I mean, Stan Lee is shaking in his boots right now up there. Rest in peace, Stan Lee, by the way. But yeah, I mean, I mean, from the next film we didn't really mention though. We talked about Madam Web was Craven. I mean, there's been lots of talk recently about Craven and how it's flopped completely, which is, I mean, we kind of saw this coming. Let's be honest.
Yeah. 2 million Thursday night.
That's insane.
Dude,
That's
I
not
don't
crazy.
even think I don't think Morbius was that bad at all. Like even Morbius had better success, and
Yeah,
that's a long shot. I mean, even he had some success with this, with the Thursday night. Like wow,
it really
because
flopped.
let's be real here. Venom is popular enough to be standing on its own. Morbius had the connection to Spider-Man, quote unquote, because a Vulture was there in the credit scene, and there was uh, even trailers showing Spider-Man graffiti. So they were trying to get they're trying to trick the audience into getting well buying tickets for Morbius. Because hey, maybe Spider-Man's gonna appear here, and it's not gonna happen. I mean, it never happened. Not even the graffiti came out at
Yeah,
all.
just the thing with like the Vulture showing up, and he was like, "I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. I think he was onto something."
And then Morbius was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm intrigued," and I'm like, "Why? You don't even know who the Spider-Man is. There's no Spider-Man in your, in your universe. What are you talking about?" I don't think it was ever
what?
confirmed that there was a Spider-Man in the Venom. Well, in the Venom movies and the Venom and Morbius movies are in the same universe. That's canon. But Madam Web can be argued saying that it's probably its own standalone film, and Craven will probably also follow being a standalone film. So I'm gonna just still call it all as one world. I don't
Yeah,
think it really matters. I mean, we all know that they were made for the same reason, to
it
keep
is
the
true.
rights and to make more money. Because, I mean, apparently they're not doing so hot. Apparently they're not doing so hot with Marvel Studios, even though they're making billions with Marvel, and with them they could barely at most 900 million. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I
more
mean,
with Marvel than without them. I mean, I think that there's no turning back once they made that deal almost 10 years ago. There's no going back with them. Like they had to just keep making. They just had to keep working with them. They should be working with them more often. I mean, I never understand why they would keep making these movies, waste their own money, barely make profit. Well, besides the Venom films, and still be like, okay, well, we keep making more movies and just without Marvel, and then try to use their name in their advertisements so we can trick the audience into watching our movies. I'm still so salty about that. I'm very salty about the fact that they used the Marvel name in Madam Web with the advertising for Madam Web. I'm salty about that. I'm still very pissed about that. So I'm like, why, how is that even legal? First off, how is that legal? Marvel had nothing to do with that movie. Now, yes, technically it's a Marvel licensed movie, but doesn't mean that it's a Marvel Studios movie. It's not the same thing that Marvel movies now are not the same thing as Marvel movies then. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get you.
Like when we talk about Marvel movies now, it's the MCU. Back then, maybe different, but now it's hey, if you're talking about Marvel movies, you're talking about the MCU. I'm not talking about you know these standalone movies that were made just for profit and trying to keep the rights away from Marvel as long as they could. And yeah, I'm just I mean I'm still like I'm surprised that Marvel didn't even like sue them or I don't know like tug them or something. Or I don't know. It's just so weird to me that they would like. I mean, I know they got the good deals going on, so I mean, I know they don't want to like ruin that, but at the same time, I'm shocked they didn't take any action to it because it's like it's so weird that they would use the Marvel name. Now, it's one thing to use Spider-Man's name, but it's another thing to use the Marvel name because Sony, I can tell you this, Marvel. I mean, Sony does not own the Marvel name. They do not own the Marvel name. That's Marvel Studios. Now they own the Spider-Man name, yes, but not Marvel. I mean, it's insane that they were not. I don't know if they were allowed to, but that they do that at all and trick the audience into thinking, "Oh, hey, Madam Web is a Marvel movie. Let's go watch it." Like, let's say that we don't know any of this stuff. Like, let's say we're like the general audience and just thinks like, like watch trailers and like, oh, it's a Marvel movie because that's what the advertising says. Like, and you
Yeah.
would think it's a Marvel because hey, that's what it says in the advertisement. That's what it said in the commercial, in the trailers. It's a Marvel movie. They even use Spider-Man's name. That's what's so crazy about it. It's so crazy.
I mean, from what we know, I mean the I don't know, man. It's insane. It is insane. But finally, we're getting near a new verse. Okay, near a new verse. We're not gonna talk about that verse yet. I don't think, unless you want to. So
What new verse? What are you talking about?
the 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 pew pew
What you
and
know
the
what I'm talking about? The
and
what?
the mutant
Oh,
saga. So
okay. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
actually glad
but
about the Moon Saga.
w- I think we'll hold off on that one though. I think because we have not talked about the film that came out before Craven, and that was Venom: The Last Dance, man.
Oh,
Venom: The Last Dance. Now, this is a film me and you have actually watched, not together, but we've
yeah,
watched.
in our separate
So,
states. Yeah,
yeah, thoughts?
I think that's the best movie that they've made. I'll be honest, and that's a bit of a what do you call it? Like a not a Far Cry, but like it's the best one. Like they that of all 6 movies that they've made because there was some heart to it. Not too much, but there was some heart to it. There was, like I said, that really solidified what the Venom movies were. So at least and it was kind of a little. I mean, I gotta admit, I mean, because of Eddie, the one thing that's consistent was the Venom and Eddie's relationship. I think that's what really like all the way to the end was been so consistent and coherent was that one thing, and it ended it in a pretty bittersweet way.
Eddie. He'll be missed, man.
Well, he'll be coming back,
Oh,
I think.
we can't spoil here, man. I mean, actually, the film's been out. It's already on streaming, so
It's been out for
I
two
think
months.
it's
Yeah, it's
fine.
already been out for 2 months. It'll be on Netflix in like what, maybe in a
All
month or
right, all
two.
right. So yeah, so we could talk spoilers here then. Okay, so
Yeah, let's talk
for
about it.
anyone's watching, we'll just go into the film. All right, so if you hadn't like inferred from what Sai just said, our boy, our boy Venom, he took one for the team. He took
Sort
one
of.
for the team, sort of. Yeah, sort of. Actually, he said, yeah, that's true. Sort of, and that little sort of is that percentage that we're hoping for that he returns. Which, let's be honest, he's coming back. He's coming back. I think. I would hope. Um, but I think personally, I did not like the film as much. By that I mean, I don't think it's a film that I would pay money for, but it's a film that I would definitely stream on my free time and just watch because it's just that type of film to me. It, and the only reason why is because there's certain parts of the film that kind of seem unnecessary. For example, a lot of people, some people, complain about the dancing scene, the dancing queen scene when where Venom's dancing. Um, Now that part of the film, I mean, it was lighthearted, but it was a bit unnecessarily long to me, at least. Um, and there are other parts of the film just like that that you feel like, okay, this is a slow burn that I'm experiencing, and they're kind of leading up to something, and it's until you get to that something that the plot picks up. Okay, it's until the what are they called? The symbiote hunters.
I forgot the name of them.
Oh no, we're
I
doing a
forgot the
podcast and
name.
don't know this information.
You
You know
know,
what?
it's
We should
funny that you should mention that it's a long movie because it's only an hour and 50 minutes long.
exactly. Exactly.
Not even
Exactly.
2 hours long.
You see what I mean? So it's a short film, but it felt long due to like certain. It's like you have the meat, you have the steak, but there's like too much fat on that steak that you got to trim off to actually get to the plot and the nitty gritty tender steak. You see what I mean? But for the vegans out there, we're talking a vegan steak, if that's a thing, or any other vegan meat out there.
Tofu.
But yeah, tofu's good. I like tofu. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's the only problem with the film for me, that I would not pay for it again, but I would most certainly watch it on streaming. And I think that's the way most films are going nowadays. Or I think eventually we're going to get to a point. This is like me going off tangent, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get to a point where films are primarily going to be on streaming services instead of in cinema. Eventually, this is going to take some
Mhm.
time, generations, people, lifetimes. Not now. I don't know,
Uh,
but yeah, it's wild stuff. But I mean, those are my thoughts on the Venom film. I mean, you agreed on it, right? You pretty
yeah,
much like the film for the most part.
I liked it. Yeah, that was my favorite one of the three. So of the three Venom films, and actually the favorite one of all the Sony films.
I
It was
see.
actually fun. It, like I said, it solidified what it was, what the Venom movies were, and yeah, and I mean Tom Hardy was perfect.
I do agree on that. I think what was it? What was your favorite part in the film?
The dancing scene.
The dancing scene. Of course it was. Of course it was. Jeez. Uh, that
Um,
it was a pretty nice scene though. I won't mind.
it was
Very heartwarming.
yeah, it was wholesome. But my favorite scene was, I have to say, when he sacrificed himself.
Ooh, hey, calm down there, man. We probably have some Venom fans in the chat, and
But
they're.
cool.
No, I'm kidding, but yikes! So you really did like the sacrifice scene, huh?
Yeah, I liked it.
What did you like about it?
I don't know.
No,
No. It's because I
nah,
mean I like that when he was saying like, like don't forget me, Eddie. Like it's just you know kind of nice because it was kind of a wholesome. It was a bittersweet moment. The ending was bittersweet. So
yeah.
then,
I'm not gonna lie. Oh no, you go first. Sorry, I cut
no,
you off
you
there.
go on, you go on.
Nah, I was just gonna say that I tried to make myself cry because I knew this was the end,
It was gonna
but
happen.
I could not. I was there in the theater trying to make myself cry, and especially when Memories started playing, that's the sequence that I wanted to cry in, but I felt the water in my eyes, but it just didn't become a waterfall. It just didn't.
I just
Sorry.
think it made it funny enough to like not make it like too emotional. I guess it was
Yeah.
kind of funny. I don't know. I find it kind of funny in the end.
You
Not, but not
that's
like
why.
not like and like not like to like make fun of it funny, but like wholesome funny. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
funny, but it's still like you still get a little feel to it. Pretty sweet.
yeah. I get what you mean. I mean, my personal favorite, and this is just because I found out about in the comics, there's this group of symbiotes called the Lethal Protectors, which are
Oh,
amazing, by the way. Um, and I mean, the moment I saw other symbiotes forming from this, I was like, oh my gosh! And there was like a certain shot that they had in a frame where Venom's there and Eddie's there, and they're all surrounded by other symbiotes. Well, symbiote hosts, they're assimilated into the host. Um, and I thought that shot it was probably my favorite part of the film because it showed that yes, there it could have been a Lethal Protectors film. We could have even got Silver Sable for who we knows because I know Silver Sable has something to do with Lethal Protectors in the comics. I don't know much about it yet though, but I think that was probably my favorite part of the film. Besides the setup that Sony was trying to do, who knows what they're trying to set up? Which I was going to ask you, what do you think they're trying to set up?
I know one thing they're setting up.
I know what it is.
There was just one character, and they did focus a little bit on in this part where there were this the alien. I think they call it the Xenophore or whatever.
Yeah,
That alien,
xenophage. I think.
xenophage, yeah. And he attacked the helicopter and he ate the guy's legs. And but the guy survived. But the guy was
Yeah.
missing his legs. His name is Thompson, as in Flash Thompson.
Oh
And guess
no.
what? In the comics, Flash Thompson is Peter Parker's bully. And in the comics, he also loses legs, but because of military, which is very similar to the movie. In the military, during his time in the army, and he became Agent Venom and gained his legs back. Well, I don't know about
Spoiler.
like permanently, but he got his legs back for when he transforms to Venom, or Agent Venom in this case.
That's wild. I mean, I'm excited that it does happen. I mean, they kind of did set it up, right?
They did, yeah,
At
they
the
did,
the end
yeah,
credit.
they did Agent Venom. So that's possible. That's one possibility they can go forward with. They also have the purple symbiote. We got her name. So
Agony. It's agony.
Agony. They have her running around. So that's one symbiote hero that's around.
The
So
lethal protectors are forming.
who knows? Huh?
The lethal protectors are forming.
That'd be cool. I know that there's like a bunch of symbiotes when combined they make one giant symbiote called the hybrid.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
So I would have thought they could have done something with that too as a potential spinoff hybrid. And I don't know, like I mean I guess with Venom there is some potential there, little bits and pieces of it, but like I said, beyond that and the little bits and pieces they can do with Venom, it can't go that far without Spider-Man.
That is true. I mean, we still don't have the emblem on this chest yet. The
They're saving
iconic
that for the
emblem.
MCU. I mean, I believe they're gonna save that for the MCU.
I hope so, man. I mean, I hope we see it maybe in the next Spider-Man film. Who knows?
You wanna know my theory? What's gonna happen in Secret Wars?
Oh, okay. We're jumping all the way to Secret Wars. Okay, okay.
Because
What
I
a
just thought
shift.
of something.
Okay.
All right, so we got Noel from in the Spider-Man in Venom 3.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna destroy that world.
The Sonyverse.
Yeah, he's gonna destroy
Okay.
that world. We have Galactus from the Fantastic Four universe,
Okay.
and then we have let's who else? Those from the alternate universes, but from the MCU we still got the Celestials, and we have who else? I was thinking right now. Well, possibly Kang. I, mean, I don't know if he's gonna be around or not, but Doctor Doom, not Z Doom, sorry,
Uh,
and Doctor Doom. We got Kangs. We have maybe Mephisto.
yes. He's here. He's
So
here
we
in the
have
universe.
of other like powerful beings, and I think they're all gonna try to like I say battle for that power for this new created universe that they're gonna make with all these other alternate realities colliding or being destroyed in the process. And I
Hmm.
feel like that for sure. For in the case of the MCU, the main two timelines that are gonna collide is the MCU, of course, and the Fox universe. And I think that's gonna get our little crossover of the Fox universe and the MCU. Because for the Fox universe, we in the Marvels, I know we saw Monica and with Beast and her mother, who was the Captain Marvel of that reality.
Yeah.
So, oh, and and what was I gonna say about that? Yeah, well, I feel like that's gonna happen. Then Deadpool takes place in that same timeline. It is right now. So, and they brought another Wolverine in that same reality, in the same reality, And it's possible that there are two Logans that are still alive. Because technically speaking, is not dead yet. He doesn't die until 2029. Deadpool 3 takes place in modern day, which is 2024. So technically speaking, we'll have two Wolverines in that timeline, in the Fox timeline. And we have Monica from the MCU, and Doctor Strange walking all over the place, walking to other realities, leaving a big mark in each of the worlds that he crosses over to. So all these universes are going to merge into the MCU. But for sure, I think the Fox universe will merge. I think that's probably the best bet is Fox and MCU collide.
I would love to see it. I really would.
And I feel
I
like
mean,
maybe that's how we'll get the mutants in the MCU.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's a
uh,
very long. A theory's been always an old theory, but
that's a pretty nice theory, though. I think. I mean, from what I've heard, I think there's also rumors. These are rumors of the mutants being featured in the upcoming films, the upcoming three films before Avengers: Doomsday, which is something. It's something to behold. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
I know for sure that there has to be something in the Captain America 4.
Ooh,
There has to be
I like
something.
that idea.
I mean, adamantium has a heavy, stressful presence in the movie. I'm thinking that towards the end or as a post-credit scene, we will get a mention or even a scene with Weapon X, who is
Ooh,
Wolverine. And so his origins will be of how he got adamantium, setting up Wolverine in the MCU.
I like that idea. The only thing is, I mean, I'm pretty sure I heard that Hugh Jackman
Is staying along.
is staying along for the ride into the New Mutants era.
Yep.
And from what I've heard, apparently they might even use him, or this is a theory going around, is that they might use him as like this mentor figure to the mutants in that saga. I can't say new mutants because that's another group that's later on down the line. But I mean, there's theories that he's going to become a mentor, kind of like Days of Future Past, the way it was executed with kind of an older Wolverine, kind of uh, leading a path for Charles in his times of need and what he was going through at the time after the events of First Class. So I don't know if that would be a good idea based on the theory, considering they already did it before in Days of Future Past. Though I think they could kind of make it work, considering it's been quite a while since Days of Future Past. I think like 5+ years maybe around there. This is just a guess. Um, but nah, I think I would like to see another rendition of Logan being a teacher to another era. I think from what I've heard, it really just sets it really just like it's like a passing of the torch from Fox to the new MCU mutants, which are already here. So it's
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, imagine if he comes to MCU Wolverine. Also, not just
MCU
one,
Wolverine.
not two, but now three Wolverines. He'll be. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're gonna have a younger Wolverine for the MCU, but we'll see.
I mean, I could see a younger Wolverine being here.
Because that would be better, but I mean, for the long run, it'd be better. But I'm saying, like Hugh Jackman, he still has it in him.
He still has it in him. He's gonna be doing it until he's 90. That's right. That's right. But it's very interesting to see how they're gonna pull this off in Secret Wars, colliding of universes. I think it's gonna be a grand film. I mean, we could go on about Secret Wars for years, but before that, I kind of want to add something. And regarding like going back to like Venom: The Last Dance was the setup with Noel. Now, I know they're probably maybe setting up a Sinister Six film, maybe with Null being the final villain for the Sinister Six, Sony versus Sinister Six, by the way.
It's not
That's
gonna happen.
yeah.
That's just
I
that's
mean,
just
I'm honestly not for it if I'm being honest, but
it's just
w-
this.
yeah, I know. But I think what I would want for sure is for them to still use Null, bring him into Secret Wars, and give him a in-person contact with Doctor Doom. I would love to see it in the beginning of Avengers Doomsday or the end of it. I need them to meet. I would love to see it. Um, I mean, first we need to see how Null gets out though, which theories are going around, man. And do you have any input on how Null's going to be introduced into
I've,
the
I've
MCU,
heard
if
that
possible?
I've heard that Marvel Studios is a little hesitant on using Null,
Oh, no.
but I mean they're not opposed to it, but they're a little hesitant to use him for now. I don't think there's. I mean, I still think we'll see him. I just don't know like if he's gonna have a big role or not, or I don't even know if he's gonna be like the main villain for Spider-Man 4.
I
It's
mean,
rumored for now, and I mean, the thing is that with Venom 3, I don't think it sets up anything for the MCU, like connected the MCU in any way, other than the beginning of the film, which pretty much retcons like how he got back to his homeworld.
that's true.
But other than that, there wasn't really much like saying anything. I mean, it does probably help us like see how it could happen in the MCU, like Spider-Man dying and then the symbiote finds him. Because I think that part wasn't retcon. I think the symbiote is still in the MCU. That I think is still in the MCU. So they just retcon like everything else, how he got there and everything. But the symbiote is still in the MCU.
He's still there. I gotta go find him.
So Spider-Man dies somehow, maybe I don't know, by no, well, not by Noel, but by someone, and Noel needs a codex to get out of his prison. So Spider-Man will be the guy for Noel to fight.
Yeah,
It's pretty much the Thanos of Sony, the Sony universe. But I don't know. I mean, I think Marvel can really help Sony with this part and help them like do like a mini Infinity War with Spider-Man and Venom. But I mean, that's if Sony wants to help, because it seems like Sony wants to do it all by themselves with their own thing.
yeah,
And Venom being sort of like the second Spider-Man into the universe.
that's true. That's true. I
But
mean,
hopefully, I mean they've been going bad hard with especially with Craven, Man of Web, Morbius. So it's like, and people are not they now they see that nobody wants to see those movies without any connection to Spider-Man. We don't want foreshadowings. We don't want like baby Peter Parker. We want to see like an actual connection. You know.
yeah,
And the best way to do it is to have all those movies end up being part of the MCU.
I agree. Bring them to the MCU.
Everything in the MCU. And I hope that most of the actors come back for their roles, because I think they did pretty good with the roles. It's not their fault. It's just Sony.
Yeah, it's just Sony, man. The
It's just
Sony verse is crumbling. It's becoming pruned as
hopefully.
as in Loki season 2 or season 1. But I do kind of, I mean, the one theory I kind of hope to be true, which you mentioned it earlier, was Spider-Man dying, symbiote attaching to him, boom, Codex is created, like you mentioned. I think that would be amazing for the it would be an amazing sequence into leading up. That's what I thought we were gonna see, or something similar at the end of Last Dance. But obviously, no, we're not gonna see that, or we didn't see it. But it would be interesting if they do that for Spider-Man 4, whether it be in the middle of the movie. I think in the middle of the movie would probably be a good idea. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things that we're still dealing with Sony here, considering Noel's involved, and Noel's coming from the Sonyverse to get his codex. But that's if Noel is even considered to be a villain for Spider-Man 4, because there's plenty of rumors of the villains for Spider-Man 4. I mean, it could even be Miguel O'Hara for all we know. Imagine. Um, but I mean, it because one of the things that I have heard for Secret Wars. Can I say this, by the way? I don't know if it's a leak.
Go for it. I mean, if it's already out there, it's doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, there is a rumor of three Spider-Man fighting against each other. I don't know if you've heard that.
I know
Thoughts?
what you're talking
You
about.
know what I'm talking about? So, like, here's my theory on
Only
that.
versus Tom with the Venom suit.
So, you think Tom's gonna be the one wearing the Venom suit?
Yep.
Here's my theory. I think Andrew's gonna get his shot at the Venom suit. He is gonna have a fight with an alien. He's gonna be the alien. He's gonna be in an alien suit. There you go. Um, I think it's going to be Andrew against Toby and Tom. I think that would be more. I think that would be interesting. Though I could definitely see the fans wanting more Tom in the suit, but still, I think giving Andrew this opportunity to fight an alien and become an alien himself.
Well, to be fair, he's gonna fight Tom, so technically Tom will be Andrew's alien that he's gonna fight.
It's true. It's true. This
So
is very
technically,
true.
that's not out of the gate. He still be fighting an alien either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what's gonna happen in these films, man. I mean, I've heard Doctor Doom might be a villain in Spider-Man 4, the main one. I don't think it's gonna happen. I do think
Probably
he's
a
gonna be.
small role, but I don't think
Yeah,
he's gonna be the main guy.
I mean, he could like, if Noel's still in the picture, he could like do like a little handshake deal. Be like, okay, you know what, Noel, you do your thing. I'm gonna watch over you from the distance. As long as you don't mess my things here, then we're all good.
Just
But
power grabbing.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen though. But I really don't know. It's hard to say what's gonna happen in these upcoming films for the most part. But yeah,
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen beyond Secret Wars. I mean, we don't know if it's gonna be, if Battle World's gonna be like not permanent, but how long it'll last. Because eventually it's gonna be a rebooted MCU, but because we're gonna see, I mean, we're probably gonna see Iron Man again, and Hulk and Captain America, Steve Rogers, and all these other characters. T'Challa, we'll see them all again, but it's just,
T'Challa.
but recasted. Not all the characters, but some will be recasted, and so they can continue like having these characters again while still having like Tom Spider Man and who else? I would think maybe Brie Larson's Captain Marvel might be around, and a lot of the more recent actors will be around longer. But the OGs will be recasted.
I
Maybe we'll
still,
be recasted too. Maybe
I mean, I still want Benedict Cumberbatch to stay as Doctor Strange.
he
He
might
might,
stay for longer. He wants to stay.
yeah. I want him to stay. I love his take on Doctor Strange. It's amazing. Probably one of my favorite films, to be honest, for the MCU. Uh, so yeah, I love Doctor Strange. But yeah, man. I mean, I think. How do you think Spider-Man 4 is going to happen? Considering we're branching out topics here, but
You know, it's hard to predict a Spider-Man movie. It's very hard. I don't know how they do it hide it so well. But all I know from what we've heard is that it's gonna have some multiversal elements. Apparently, Marvel wanted to make it street level and connect to Daredevil, but Sony wanted to make it more bigger and multiversal once again, and maybe you bring back Tom and Andrew, Toby and Andrew again. But well, I think for the most part, Sony got their way. But I think that they're still trying to figure things out. And I think that now is gonna be more of a how do I say a personal story, but with some multiversal elements.
I could see that. I could see that.
So I'm not sure what exactly that is. What multiverse elements they're gonna use, I don't know how heavy they're gonna lean into it. Well, seeing the fact that it will be connected about, and it's gonna be it's gonna release right after Doomsday. It's gonna have to connect to the multiverse somehow. Now I don't know whatever happens after Doomsday. I don't know, like if that's where Battle World is gonna be created, or if there's gonna be something else to it in Battle World, and then Doomsday. But something will happen, and Spider-Man will be facing. I would say that's when we'll start getting like an introduction to the live action Spider Verse. A small introduction to it. I'm not saying a big one, because I think that the Spider Verse live action should be its own like thing. It shouldn't be like how do I say like I don't know how to say it, but like I feel like Tom should still have his own franchise, but the Spider Verse can be its separate thing. If you get my drift. Kind of
Yeah,
like the animated films, but like live action.
yeah, I get you. I get you. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say, man. I mean, personally, I think Spider-Man 4, because I've been thinking since it knows out of picture. Here's what they could do, and I think I've heard this theory thrown around through the grapevine, and that is that they use Doctor Doom in the. I think I told you this theory, and not in the podcast, but where they bring in Doctor Doom and he makes a deal with Peter, and he says, "Yo, Peter, I know you had this deal with like Doctor Strange and stuff, and I would like to help you with that, and I'm gonna give you your life, your Peter life back, but on the condition that you're no longer Spider-Man." Now it's kind of like taking the No Way Home thing, but flipping it on its head. I mean, he's working with another sorcerer, in this case, in Doctor Doom, and now he's gonna try to live his Peter life, but he's gonna trust Doom, probably because he sees him as Tony Stark. Maybe this is a maybe, but I don't think he's gonna see his face yet, at least in the Spider-Man film, because for most of the part, I'm pretty sure Doctor Doom. I mean, it really just depends when Spider-Man 4 is going to be, because if it's after Avengers Doomsday, which I've heard this is really probably going to be the case, then Doom's probably going to he's going to fix his face. It's very likely. And he's going to look like Tony Stark, which is, Robert Downey, our boy, Robert Downey Jr. So, if that happens, then I could definitely see that being like a kind of trust point for Peter Parker in Spider-Man 4, where he's going to be like, okay, you know what? I trust him a bit more because he looks like my mentor, and that's probably might be how the film starts. And if the film starts this way, that would be insane, because then it's going to lead up to other things in the film where maybe other villains come out. I want to say Rhino, but no. After we know he comes out in Craven, but he's probably not going to come out in the way they show him in Craven. If he
Uh,
does,
but yeah,
um, the
maybe.
only other option that I see feasible from Marvel, I really do think they're going to do this. I do think they are going to bring in Venom as the main villain for Spider-Man 4. They could do it. I could see them doing it. I mean, they've done 1v1 villains per movie before. We had Vulture versus Spider-Man in Spider-Man Homecoming. Of course, he had like the Shocker and some other dudes, his pals, Vulture and pals for Spider-Man Homecoming. And then we had for Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh no, Far From Home. We had Mysterio, by far one of my favorite Spider-Man films. Just personally, because I just love Mysterio. I love his look and his character.
He's coming
Uh,
out in What If, by the way.
huh?
He's coming in What If.
I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for that. I would like to talk about it, but I can't lose my train of thought here. But yeah, I think um, they could really do a 1v1 villain here, and they could use this in Venom. They could like capitalize on the capital that they got from Venom: The Last Dance, even though it was Sony, right? But I'm pretty sure they can bring Sony into that, bring Venom into the MCU,
I
give
think
Venom
they're
the
gonna
suit.
like
But the way they should do this is what we talked about before, is that in the middle of the film, or maybe yeah, I think if Doctor Doom makes a deal with Peter in the beginning, then I definitely think they should be in the middle of the film. But Tom dies trying to be Spider-Man. Peter, I should say, Peter dies. Peter Parker dies trying to be Spider-Man, trying to become Spider-Man once again. And when he dies, it might not even be against the symbiote. It might be against another villain besides the symbiote. There might be even three villains in this film, for all we know. It is going to be considered a multiverse film, so there could be many possibilities. I've heard names like Mr. Negative come out. I've heard Scorpion come out of the grapevine for some reason, which I still would like to see. Considering he apparently has a past, at least that was hinted at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming with Vulture. But either way, whatever they do, they kill Peter Parker off in the middle of the film, bury him, funeral and all. It's like Spider Verse all over again, except with our Peter Parker, Tom Holland. And he dies. Symbiote is like, oh, I don't know where to go. Where am I going to go? And where does he go? To Peter Parker in the grave. And guess what? The rain starts hitting the grave. Thunder hits, thunder strikes, and out of the blue, out of the ground, you see it. Spider Man, Tom Holland, Peter Parker in the symbiote suit. Codex is created. Noel's like, what's going on? And, you know, maybe Noel is awakened by that. Or if Noel's not awakened by that, then, this is how Peter Parker is going to fend off the villains in the film. Um, so yeah, and then eventually he's gonna find out that Doctor Doom was behind it all. It's like, oh snap, I gotta fight Doctor Doom now, and that leads into Avengers: Secret Wars. However, it's hard to say if they are gonna go this route. I see it as such a great script idea, but I know they can knock that one out of the park as well. Like I know they could go above and beyond what I just said because it's the MCU. They've done this before. Theories have been popped out of the grapevine for who knows how long. Leakers are everywhere. And what's right, what's wrong, I have no idea. But overall, as you can tell, I'm very excited for the film. Very.
Yeah, you're so excited for the whole next few years, huh?
Yeah, of course. I mean, do you see my attire? Got the Doom outfit and everything, man. So yeah,
Sounds very interesting. Yeah, I would like
indeed.
to see that happen with having that Craven's Last Hunt kind of cover vibe coming from like that movie,
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
and then we'll see Craven there in Spider-Man 4.
Oh, that. I mean, I still would like to see Craven sometime in the MCU.
I
I
don't know.
mean, I think it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? That's performing Craven.
Yeah, he's acting in that movie as Craven. I think
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think he could come to the MCU. I mean, event hopefully, but it really is up to the deals
Sony.
above. Yeah, with the Beyonder, our enemy.
That.
Uh, but yeah, pretty wild stuff. By the way, let's break kayfabe for a while. And how long is this gonna be? I mean, this is a test
Actually,
run.
yeah, actually, I need to start. My laptop is getting a little low, so
I see. I see. Yeah, I was like, I heard like several noises. I was like, oh no.
it's just my it's upstairs. I don't know, some people upstairs, I guess.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Alrighty. So, I guess you want to close off.
Yeah, I would close it off.
No, by that I mean like you
Like,
want to like
oh, like wrap it up,
you,
like
you get what
just
I mean, right?
like just
Like
say
give an outro.
oh, an outro. Probably the same thing as an intro.
Yeah.
Use the video, I guess. Well, yeah. Well, to my two viewers, thank you guys for joining us. It's nice that you guys are here. This is just a little test run that we're doing, so we're just talking about a recent event that was going on. And well, this is not an official first live stream. This is more of a test run, but I'll send it to the Facebook group. Sorry, the Facebook group, so people can see and we'll get some feedback and seeing how people like how we did our little demonstration of is what is to come for the Tex-Mex nerd. And yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm glad that I'm finally moving, getting this thing going because I've been wanting to do this for over a year. But like I was telling my buddy Zadoom, there were so many blessings that happened, and well, now I think it's time to start bringing this up a little bit. So again, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, all right, see you soon, Z Doom.
Ados.